Yeah, there's
Metals
a
are
chapter in the
crystallic
Quran
structures.
that's
Anyway,
called
continue.
Surah Al-Hadid. So basically, it means the chapter of iron. And a friend, I didn't go into details with it, but a friend of mine told me that iron, according to like some book he was reading, is not even from this planet, and it comes. That's what he explained. Basically, it comes through the meteors and stuff like that. But I think that it's from our Earth, but some reaction or whatever happens that just sort of purifies it or brings it out, or it's like a magnet, so it just sort of it's found there.
So imagine when you're welding with plasma, these flames that you weld in metals or whatever, there's some type of reaction up there in the heavens above that
Hello,
is.
how are you, friends? How are you?
We're doing
Welcome.
okay. How about yourself? Welcome.
I am okay. And you?
I said we're doing all right. What brings you by?
Okay.
You sound faint. Can you like adjust your mic or something?
Yeah,
Maybe
get closer to your
speak
mic.
up. Don't scream, please. But did you just leave? Okay.
Maybe he just wanted to ask how you guys doing, and that's it. If you have any more questions, you can direct them to the panel.
I think
His
I
first
left.
question was answered, so that's good.
Yeah, maybe it's the
So
time.
the iron ore, that's very one of the most magnetic materials, isn't it? Iron oxide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's iron itself, not the rust, not the oxide.
Or something like that. And it also
There's two
takes kind of
oxides.
like the shape. If you look at when it's found on the ground, and the iron, it kind of takes the pyramid shape actually. It's called magnetite. Magnetite. Iron dioxide. Iron
Magnetite?
oxide. Magnetite. Yeah, just look it up. Magnetite, and check it. Look at it. And also, it is mostly iron oxide. I think it is. Let me check again.
Maybe iron 1 oxide, because rust is iron 3 oxide, I think.
Possibly, I might be mistaken about the second, but it's iron something, and it's
Yeah,
magnetite.
there's a lot of iron compounds.
And it takes the shape of like a pyramid shape as well.
Pyramid shape. Oh yeah, this one. I think. Yeah. Magnetite is a mineral, right? So this is the chemical formula: ferrous 2 plus ferrous 3 plus. Damn, I can't even read this. It just says 204. I don't know what 204 is. Maybe it's an O, which is oxygen. So I don't know why there's a 2 before that, but 2 oxygens and 4. So maybe eight oxygens. Yeah, I think you're right. There's some kind of an oxygen molecule.
Yes.
Involved. Magnetite. This one does look like it's from outer space. Like it has that weird
From outer
alien
space.
kind of look. It looks like it's not.
Well, if you say, let's say the medium above is out of this space, it's another space out there. I mean, yes, out of this space that you and I are in, out of this medium, is another medium up there.
Yeah, like the sky or whatever, outside our atmosphere.
It wouldn't be an atmosphere because air doesn't have a shape.
Yeah, I prefer to say atmo layer, but sounds really weird. So
air. That's what we got. The atmos,
yeah,
the air.
It's just the air, atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmos. But then we give it sphere. We're saying the air has a shape, a sphere, but it doesn't.
Yeah, itself it doesn't. Yeah, I guess it's the like globers.
But remember, that term is made because of the globe that they have to have the air around the sphere.
Like
yeah,
the strato layers are called stratosphere and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Yeah,
the pyramid
they do
shape
need to.
magnetite looks like it's kind of like being either I don't know affected, or there's an introduction of that
But why do they
whatever
call
is
it
happening.
magnetite? It is attracted to a magnet and can be magnetized? Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, it's one of the oxides.
Since you were interested in this stuff, I must send you some information about the sporadic meteor research and the observations. They look at the sky with like a whole spectrum of optical equipment. Some of it they call it electro-optical, other is thermal, infrared, radio surveys. So within all of the spectrum of optical observation, you can actually, within all of the spectrum, you can actually see this uh, kind of like shape in the sky.
Wow.
Oh, it's interesting, guys. Atman in Sanskrit means soul,
So
like air or breath. Yeah. Aprana. Very similar. And in German, which borrowed a lot from Gothic, which has loan words from Sanskrit, Atman is breath or air, like the exhalation.
Yeah, they noticed this kind of. Yeah, they noticed this kind of a rhythm in the observatory in Japan, the deep one, where there's like water at a certain depth. It's not supposed to be disturbed by like regular Earth, like energies or waves and stuff. And then they observe cosmic like events and stuff. So it has some kind of a rhythm, like it breathes in and out, sort of. Like there's inhale and exhale, sort of like observed.
hey, Lord of Rims. I was
I
trying to
don't,
DM you, but you're not accepting DMs at the moment. I'm gonna
I don't
send
know
you a
why,
friend
because
request.
I never closed it ever. I don't see anything that came through. Oh, now it came. So it was just a delay, basically. So does it say that I don't accept the DMs directly?
It's saying your message could not be delivered. This is usually because you don't share a server.
Jimsy, do you have that GIF showing the at least 4 radiant points that are sharing energy with each other over the course of a year? It was taken by Seymour, the Canadian Meteorological Organization.
I do have the one that shows all 6 of them.
Yeah. There's that
I mean, I have
GIF.
a bunch of them.
There's that GIF that shows the energy exchange between radiant points. It's trippy as all get out.
Does it have anything to do with the obelisks?
It kind of looks like one in the sky, just saying, like from underneath.
Yeah, but the ones on Earth are supposedly transmitting some kind of energy as well.
Let's see if I can find.
So where do I open my DMs from? I can't find the setting. Advanced, maybe? Nope. Else. Contents. Social. Dark messages filter from non-friends. Do not filter. Okay. Found it.
I found it. There you go.
I managed to open up my DM.
All right, at 13 minutes past the hour, what you're watching is an electro-optical infrared camera that is aimed at the sporadic meteor complex over the course of a year. The days of the year are ticking on the bottom corner, I think to the left. And this is showing the in light that's not visible to humans, but is visible in the radio spectrum and in very, very low infrared spectrum. This is over your head every night. And
So
this
to scan
complex
this, you
occupies
have
the
to face
entire
upward?
field of view in the sky from horizon to horizon. This is overhead.
Right. Okay, so it's spread out.
Yep, when the sun goes away, this starts to come up. When the sun rises in the east, this is starting to illuminate, or sun sets in the west, this is rising and this is illuminating the sky. So as the sun sets, this has come up and increases in intensity over the course of the night and then fades away as the sun comes up the next morning.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's like the I don't remember what they call it, but there's like that part which has a lot of stars maybe or something, and even like
Hey,
cosmic clouds or something.
Sporadic. I wanna fix something for you because that one has certain labels. Like someone is taking credit for that, but he just put the images together and then that staple his name on it.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
saw that.
saying?
I was like, fuck. I mean, this comes from an actual study from the Canadian Meteorological Observatory.
Yeah, he says so that the Seymour is the source, but the animation is from him.
The animation, he grabbed the images from the paper and he put them in a time lapse.
Okay. Yeah.
So the one that I posted last, it shows the time lapse, and when you see those numbers, it's 5 days. 5 days. It's 365 days. 5 5 5 5 5.
Oh, okay. It's a
Right.
5 day. Okay.
And
It's
what's
every
also
5 days.
interesting is if you're into ham radio, you can listen to this stuff. It sounds like chirps and static, and it's in the VHF range. It's around like 120 to 130 megahertz.
Okay. 120 to 130. All of them, yeah?
Yep.
Sporadic, I just want to know why there's a theta symbol in the middle of it.
Yeah, want to see more? Hold on. This is going to blow your mind, dude, because they've done studies from the southern latitudes, and it's symmetrical.
Nice.
What was your question, T-Dub? What was the question? Or what was it?
Wasn't too
Mathematics. Yeah,
Since we all sound the
mate.
same. But anyways,
What did you ask?
when you have a look at the one that you posted up, Gemsy, there's a theta symbol in the middle of it.
When you say the symbol,
Okay, see where the black area is flashing around it?
Yeah.
The clear area, it leaves a theta symbol.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what that is? That's the celestial equator.
oh yeah, that is what we call the celestial equator. And when you see the, let me post the other ones. My bad.
Yep. So that
Go ahead.
dividing line, it's really weird, right? How the dividing line between the two triangles on the top and the bottom, that clear separation is the celestial equator, which is where the sun goes during the equinox on the equator. Isn't that freaking weird?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like cuts it neatly in half.
Yeah, but
But
there's a circle
these
as
images are
well.
taken over the course of a year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
But you know that this whole observation is not just done from one point. It's this is put together from Tierra del Fuego in Argentina. Then there is the CMOR from Canada, and there is another one in Texas, and another one in Peru, and another one in Ascension Island in the Atlantic Ocean. So a lot of the imagery is kind of like put together because
Right.
it's
The observation.
it's not observable for one position. I don't think. From what I comprehend, what do you think? Sporadic, is that what? Am I interpreted incorrectly? Because I think when you look at from all the observatories, they give you a similar image, but they put imagery together from all of the positions.
Yeah, they produce separate images and together composite images. I've got similar findings from like Russian bases in northern Antarctica. So
because this thing is like the whole of the sky from different positions. This is not just one position on the ground. It's a bunch of positions on the ground.
Yeah, what they've done, like in some of the first posts we've shared, which is from the Canadian Meteorological Research Organization. They took an array, several electro-optical infrared cameras, meteor cameras, and they posted them out, and they spread them out, and they pointed them at the sky, and they put them on timers to rotate over the course of a year, and they just started snapping pictures, man, and they produced the GIF that you see. It's interesting because the most intense, what you're seeing basically, like with the colors, the hyperspectral colors, the most intense colors is the highest energy level. And what this is really revealing is that meteors are energy, like lightning, you know?
Right. Yeah, that does make sense.
You can hear it when you tune a ham radio, which is where the sun goes during the equinox on the equator. Isn't that freaking weird?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like cuts it neatly in half.
Yeah, but
these images are taken over the course of a year.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
But you know that this whole observation is not just done from one point. This is put together from Tierra del Fuego in Argentina. Then there is the CMOR from Canada, and there is another one in Texas, and another one in Peru, and another one in Ascension Island in the Atlantic Ocean. So a lot of the imagery is kind of like put together because it's
the observation.
It's not observable for one position. I don't think. From what I comprehend, what do you think? Sporadic, is that what? Am I interpreted incorrectly? Because I think when you look at from all the observatories, they give you a similar image, but they put imagery together from all of the positions.
Yeah, they produce separate images and together composite images. I've got similar findings from like Russian bases in northern Antarctica. So
because this thing is like the whole of the sky from different positions. This is not just one position on the ground. It's a bunch of positions on the ground.
Yeah, what they've done, like in some of the first posts we've shared, which is from the Canadian Meteorological Research Organization. They took an array, several electro-optical infrared cameras, meteor cameras, and they posted them out, and they spread them out, and they pointed them at the sky, and they put them on timers to rotate over the course of a year, and they just started snapping pictures, man, and they produced the GIF that you see. It's interesting because the most intense, what you're seeing basically, like with the colors, the hyperspectral colors, the most intense colors is the highest energy level. And what this is really revealing is that meteors are energy, like lightning, you know?
Right. Yeah, that does make sense.
You can hear it when you tune a ham radio. And if you were to take a directional antenna, like a log periodic or Yagi antenna, and point it at the direction it's coming from, you're going to hear this stuff. And you can actually bounce signals off of it, which is freaking weird.
This is why animals can hear it before us. Like they usually know
It
this.
might be.
That
It
there's
is
something coming.
absolutely electrical, 100%. Animals pick this stuff up. And this happens every night. Like a big 6 points of radiant light that is just outside your visual perception rise in the east and set in the west in this configuration. It is symmetrical. This has been known about since about the 1950s and 60s, and they first started taking images of it in the 1970s. And only recently, within like since 2008, have produced high resolution images of this. And this is not really talked about. This is cutting edge. If you read some of the forums, some of the posts that astronomers have back and forth, they're puzzled by the symmetry and the beauty. And they're like, what the hell?
Anti-Helian. Wow. So it's the exact opposite of it. It's a mirror image.
You know, another coincidence that I find pretty peculiar is that the sun, when you observe the sun dogs and you see this phenomena, let me post something about the sun. It looks like a projection of this whole thing. So, you know, the phenomena of the sun and the moon both do the same thing.
Yeah, listen, the sun dogs are on the opposite ends of the sporadic meteor complex. So all the nodes you see from the sundog image, that is a mirror image reflection of what you see with the sporadic meteor complex. Isn't that freaking weird, guys? Like you've seen sundogs, people taking pictures of them in like icy conditions where you have like the sun setting and you see like micro suns above and to the left and to the right and all these halos and these arcs of light connecting the nodes. That specific geometric configuration is what is produced at nighttime in a mirror image reflection with the sporadic meteor complex.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so it's the same
Fucked
thing,
up.
but
Isn't that
we
weird?
don't see the sun. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, there's always been the question,
Yeah.
where does the sun go when it sets?
The sun.
You're not going to find mainstream astronomers talking about this. Most of them probably don't even know this exists.
Yeah, because it doesn't match with saying that the sun doesn't go anywhere.
The sundog was a big talking point that Lemonbird used to bring up, and a lot of the globalists on the GEMS just straight up denied it. That it's not a thing. No one's ever recorded it. There's no pictures of it. There's no evidence of it.
Yeah, right. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Oh yeah, and they would get infighting amongst themselves about like what a sundog is and what's creating it and whatnot.
So remember, the sporadic mirror complex is a whole compilation of kind of like a projection of all of the sky from all positions, and the sun is one section of it. So when you're looking at the sun dogs and this sun phenomena that shows, it's kind of showing a projection of the whole of the sky, the way it looks in the electro-optical spectrum onto that
Day
position.
and night, right? So it's both day and night.
And the moon does that as well. The moon shows these characteristics as well. No, I'm gonna find it.
Because it's part of it, yeah. It's part of the celestial system. What does this image show? The one with the haze and some kind of an angle.
What do they say? Do what you love,
I got videos about the sun stuff, so that takes out of the question people questioning it if it's real or not. There's a lot of footage about it. If you look, you can find it.
I think the big issue was there for the globalists that they weren't able to find like a Wikipedia page or like a Google search had like different definitions. No one was telling them exactly what was the correct parodying that they should say about it.
Oh, real quick to Lord of Wheels, the question that you asked about that, that's basically when people are with your camera of your eyes, you can time lapse, kind of like people say, the rotation of the sky, and you see these two rotations, one on one point, then you see the celestial equator of the middle, and then you see the other rotation on the other side. And that image that you're asking about is basically showing that
Oh, so it's a
that's the
symmetry.
ground that you're standing on, the horizontal frame of reference, and then you're looking at this phenomena up in the sky that is happening in a time lapse.
Over a year, right?
No, that's a time lapse that you can allegedly you can observe during the night cycle, because I don't think you can see it during the day. It's during the
Yeah,
night.
obviously. Yeah, the observation has to be at night.
I have an image of what this might look like from the equator, looking towards the east at sunset. So hang on a
Yes.
second. I'm going to go find it.
It looked like sunset to me, so that's what I wanted to clarify. So that would be the western sky. And so there's a circle of like rotations on the left of it, which is kind of independent, like a sphere. And then there is like these from the right that are going into where the sun set.
Not like a sphere, like a circle of rotation.
Oh, so the same ones are just going around. Okay.
Because when you look at the Nord celestial as a center and you do a time lapse, it looks like the stars around that area do a circle around that celestial north, or Polaris, right? The center star.
Oh,
And then
that's
next to
why.
that,
Okay.
you see the celestial equator, and then after that, allegedly there's another circular rotation, which is labeled as the celestial south or
Yeah,
south
makes sense.
toroidal.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey
Makes
guys,
sense.
here it is, 28 minutes past the hour. So this is half of it. This is one half of it. At sunset, this is what you would see with electro-optical infrared. You would see a point towards the north celestial pole, a point towards the south celestial pole, and 2 points that are equidistant from each other from the celestial poles along the horizon. You see that?
The horizon is this vertical, the horizontal line, the red one?
Yep. And as the sun has set, this is about, consider this like 9 o'clock at night on the equator. The first point, the anthelion point of the sporadic meteor complex, will be elevated in front of you, maybe about 30 to 50 degrees.
Okay. In the east.
So that's
In the
what you
eastern
would
sky?
see. Huh? Yeah, in the
In the
east.
eastern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this whole thing, as it would lift up, those 4 points you see on the horizon would eventually be overhead. And
Oh,
yep,
so it rises
they
in like
would
2 hours.
they would be in a straight line connecting the north to the south celestial poles.
So listen real quick, Lord, in your question, this is what, sun or sporadic? So the sun will be the circle that we call the sun, and around the sun there is the helion, which is one of the radiant sources. So on the imagery that we showed you,
Yeah, previously.
the helion is not the sun. The sun is the circle of the sun, and then the helion will be the one of the radiant sources that is this section of the sky where the
Right.
sporadic meteors come from all of that section of the sky. You know that you get that, right? Sporadic helium. So the helium source is not the sun. The sun is the circle of the sun, right? What we call the
Helium is
sun.
off. Yeah, the helium source is a little bit off center from the sun. It's
Yeah.
a little freaking. Is it east of the sun? A little west of the sun, I think. It's a little west of the sun, just a smidge.
Kind of like around it or next to it or something.
Yeah, the helium source is just due west of the sun. Now, the north toroidal and south toroidal points are very close to the north and south celestial poles, but they're not quite there.
Do
Yeah.
these points move amongst themselves, or are they always equidistant?
All these radiant points are equidistant. They maintain themselves in a constellation, kind of like Orion or Cassiopeia or any of the
So it's kind of
constellations in the sky. They remain fixed relative to each other.
Yeah, to each other, but not to other stuff. The other stuff, well, it moves relative to
Imagine
other stuff.
gears of a clock. You know how the clock has gears, but they have other gears within those gears, and there's gears behind, gears
Yeah,
above,
yeah.
gears below. So there's gears within gears.
Yeah, there has
Something
to be
like that.
movement. Like the whole stuff is always moving. Yeah.
I don't know if this gears is the correct term, but I'm just saying that as a mechanism, it kind of makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
the concept. Yeah, because like if one moves, the other one moves either with it or opposite it in some way. But there's like a movement involved.
No,
That one that I
nobody's
tagged
talked
you
about
with.
yet, dude.
Go
Nobody's
ahead.
talked about the fact that this thing is zapping Earth with electricity.
With way more than that. There's like sound coming from it,
Yeah,
electricity.
it's energy.
I don't
I
know,
would say it's different energy.
frequencies. You can do all
Yeah.
type of readings from it.
So get this: there's what appears to be a pyramidal structure that flies above Earth at nighttime and zaps Earth with electricity, and it's associated with iron and magnetism. It's like we woke up in an alternate dimension, right? I mean, this is happening. This has been going on since the beginning of time, as far as
Yeah,
we're concerned.
it's been there. Yeah, it's literally just been there.
You can also think about it as a prism. You know, when we present the prism, that light goes through, and then you see kind of like a prism. I mean, the pyramid is always used like a prism of light, and we actually somehow within the layers are getting that phenomena as well. We get in the light. We have the pyramid at the center, and then we get the sun and whatever, and we get all the colors in the medium. I don't know. There's something there. I don't know how to put it together, but there is something there. It's, oh, so I wanted to post something about the sun.
So how do we align this from here? Like when we observe, is the north toroidal our north as well?
Yeah, that's near the North Pole in the sky.
Okay, so basically the plow, right? Like in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yep, that's close to the center point of rotation. And the southern toroidal is near the south celestial pole, near the southern point of rotation. And then the helion point is due west of the sun, so you can see it just as the sun sets.
Yeah.
A few
On the
hours
horizon,
later.
basically.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the anthelion is not exactly opposite of the sun, but also a bit west of the sun.
Right, somewhere
So,
close.
yeah. So what happens at some point in the night sky, you can see all 6 points of light. You can
1,
see
2,
4
3,
points of
4,
light
5.
connecting the north to the southern points in the sky, and you can see two that are close to where the sun sets and opposite of where the sun rises
At the same time.
at the same time. Yep. It's a gigantic cross in two
That's
dimensions.
interesting.
Oh, okay. I need to actually look at it to like confirm. But there's something in Arabic called Al Fajr Al Awwal. This means the first Fajr, and the prayer is on the second one. It's called fake dawn, basically, in the Arab culture.
Wow.
And there's like the sky becomes bright, and it looks like it's dawn. So in Islamic law, when we're studying the prayers, it said that the prayer is due on the second dawn. And then they had to address the issue to say there's a first dawn that happens in the sky and then it disappears. It gets bright and then it goes
Yeah.
away. And then there's the second one that comes. That's the actual one when the sun is about to rise. That's the one where when the prayer is due.
That
There
kind
might
of
be something
reminds
to that.
me. That kind of reminds me of this Spanish guy. I gotta look again. I think he's from Spain or one of the Spanish countries, and he went to the Russian. He was taken to the Russian settlement in Antarctica. So he went over there and stayed over there, I think, for weeks or months, something like that. And they recorded something that they call the intrasun, that is happening during the nighttime, and it's not the moon, it's not the sun, but it kind of like gives you like 3 hours of light, and it looks like
Right.
almost like a sun, but it's not during it's the intrasun.
I
It
heard of
gives you,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
I heard of
Yeah.
that a very long time ago, even as a kid. They were like, there's some kind of a weird, it's not the sun, but then there's something that comes up at the poles.
Well, it's a glow. It's a glow in the sky. They call that the nighttime
Yeah.
air glow. Yeah. That.
Yeah,
So the U.S. Army discovered this in the 1940s or 50s. They also used infrared technology and studied the night sky. There's something. I don't have the report, but some flat earthers out there might know what I'm talking about. It's called nighttime air glow of the firmament by the U.S. Army.
The one that they showed from the Russian recording, it came up like in the sky in the camera frame, and then it disappeared at the center like 3 hours. It lasted like 3 hours, and it was moving almost like the moon is moving, and it was a light in the sky, super bright, almost like the moon. And you see the it's nighttime. You can see it's nighttime, but this thing is like illuminating the floor and everything, and then it just disappears in the middle. It just goes away.
Yeah, it disappears. Yeah, it's probably the.
And they called it the intrasun, intrasol.
Wow. Yeah, I missed this alignment of the planets during the planetary parade last month. I just saw, I think, one or two of them. We had done clear skies, so it was a difficult time to observe. Very cloudy.
I gotta find the papers of all of this research, and for you, Rims, I'm gonna send you the papers so you can probably look through that stuff. Because there's a lot of ideas from whoever is doing the research and their perspective. Some of them might be thinking they're standing on a spinning globe, and their conclusions might be
different. Yes,
different. But then the phenomena is there. The observable phenomena is there.
Absolutely.
But then your presuppositions might change the conclusion.
Yeah, makes sense. So this image of what I'm seeing, is it the actual sun like setting, or it's the one that's like infra?
I didn't post the infra. I didn't post the intra one. No, I have to look up that stuff again. That was a video that I watched from some guy, Spanish guy, that went to the Antarctica with the Russians.
You're not going to get this information from globe earthers, folks. If you want more of this, tune into 24/7 Flat Earth Discord.
Oh, so that's the sun, when it looks like that you see the sun dogs, and I think that I've seen that happen in the morning. I also seen it happening in the afternoon. So I don't know. It's so in some
Sometimes.
areas you're gonna see more defined. In other areas, it looks like you can see the circle. So many times you're gonna see a little bit of it, and other times you're gonna see like the whole expression of it.
Right.
So I think it's based on the angle of the sun and your position on the ground. You because there's positions on the ground that you're gonna be looking at the sun and you don't see this like a window. It looks almost like a window. You're looking through layers and you see kind of like certain layers or whatever. But if you're in a different position, you're gonna be looking at the sun, but you don't see this phenomena. So
Yeah.
it depends on the angle that you're looking
Yeah,
at the
makes
sun.
sense. I mean, like in my zone, it would be interesting to see what else is there or maybe what's missing.
When I say calmly, the one can think of that, but take a little bit hard for it, but it appears to say, heal. At some point,
Almost 20 years ago, Gemsy, I worked with a man who was a geologist, and he was pretty old in age. He's probably not alive anymore. He had done 2 tours at Vostok Base in Antarctica with the Russians during the Cold War as a guest transfer scientist from the United States.
That was during the Soviet Union?
Yeah, this was during the 80s and late
Mm.
70s and early 80s. You know, this is before I was like into flat Earth. I mean, this is a long time ago. One of the things he said is that somehow electromagnetic propagation of light and radio and everything else, even magnetism, behaves differently down there.
Yeah, it would make sense because the magnetic north during that time
The
was
other thing he
actually
said
over
is
there.
he said that the ionosphere, um, he's not sure whether or not it rotates with the Earth or it just breathes in place.
Mm.
You know, in some ways, I think he was trying to say that he was questioning the globe cosmology. In fact, in many ways.
Yeah,
And one of the interesting
yeah.
things about Vostok base, the Russian base in Antarctica, is that's actually closer where the pole lines terminate. The Russians have that piece of land.
Yeah, because it's interesting, so they would have some kind of an upper hand to have that.
Yeah, yeah, for all kinds of things, communications,
Absolutely.
weapons, you name it.
Yeah, everything. I mean, once you learn how to like harness something from there, you've got control, and in a way that other people do not even understand.
Yep, they can occupy the southern magnetic pole and control the weather. That's what I think.
It's possible.
And
Since
geologic
it's,
processes and other things. Yep.
since it's a pole, yeah, it's going to have the contra or the anti-pole, the other pole.
And allegedly, it's the high ground. So if you militarily talking, if you're holding the high ground,
Oh, guys, I just remembered. I'm looking for a map for the direction of the rivers in the world, like in which direction they flow.
well, that's a good question. And I think if you're gonna take the context of rivers and you're not gonna be biased about river being the ones that come, okay. I think if you're gonna take the whole of picture of rivers, there are 4 rivers coming from the center location, and they go across the oceans. There's water flowing from the bottom of the oceans
Yeah,
outside to the ocean. So
yeah,
there's waters coming from the bottom, and when you look at I think it's called the faults or whatever. There's like
yes.
cracks
The
or
fault
these
line,
deep.
yeah,
Those are rivers that are very very deep down.
yeah. I know that. But generally, like even on land, the rivers, like how do they flow? Because for the Nile, I know it starts in Ethiopia, it goes to the Mediterranean Sea. And ours here in my zone starts from somewhere around here, but it meanders a lot. And then it eventually goes east into the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, those are definitely rivers that we can go across the land. But I think there's another layer of rivers, and those are under
The
the
sea ones,
oceans.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, we could compare both, but generally, I want to do a like zoomed out kind of look to see if there's the pattern in the way the rivers flow.
I sent you like 5 papers. Let me see again. 4 papers of
Yeah, I got
one,
those
two, three,
PDFs.
four.
Yeah.
Let me post them in the text as well, so people, if they want to look at them, in the in this text. That's interesting. Oh, download file. I don't know if that's the correct one. Let me go back.
So Samir has like 3 points from which they observe, or like 3 stations. Samir North.
The observatories.
It seems, yeah, there's like 3. There's Cabo Domingo and the central one that just says Samir, and then there's La Toma.
There's many observatories. These phenomena can be observed all across the land,
Okay.
but
Okay.
the ones that I remember is the Canadian CMOR. They have they posted from different positions. They put different cameras at different spots. Like I think it was like 10 kilometers from each other. So that's one, the Canadian. Then I remember there's another one in the Atlantic Ocean called Ascension Island, also doing these observations. Then there's another one in Peru. Forgot the name of that one. There's another one in Texas. And then the other one that I remember is Tierra del Fuego in Argentina. So, but I'm certain, like Sporadic was saying, there's the Russians, and I'm pretty certain there's way more than that.
Absolutely. I mean, it would be good to know that there are different points in the Pacific, in India, in Africa, at the equator, down below the equator, and north of the equator to see if there's like different results. You know, if they do such stuff from like mountain peaks and stuff, like high altitude places like the Himalayas and stuff. Just to see if there's a difference.
Yeah, they have in mountain peaks. Ascension Island is an island in the Atlantic, so that's probably not as high as the Himalayas, but I'm certain
Mm.
they have observatories up in very high places.
Yeah, it's easier to observe from there because it's peaceful, it's less polluted, and you get just better clarity usually. The guests are awfully quiet. Yo, Haile, what's up?
But
It's an Ethiopian dude.
I'm centering myself. You don't know what to do. I know what to say.
whenever the Globers bring out the luminaries or the sky, that's not unless they're talking about the cartoon fantasy globe idea. Go ahead, Zoro. Zoro, welcome. You can go ahead and ask your question. Zoro, Earth to Zoro. Anyways, yeah, the sky debunks the globe when you actually observe it and put all the pieces together. It doesn't work on the globe plane. Matador, Matador. Welcome back, Matador. See, people have been joining. You're welcome to mic and ask questions. Go right ahead.
Don't be shy. Open up your mic. Say hi. Oh, I got beats happening. I didn't even realize. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
You're a poet?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay, give us a sample. Prove it.
We have achieved amazing dreams, but does it justify the means when other life struggles to carry on? We've learnt to cope and overcome, but that's just not enough for some, and they won't stop until they have all and all have none.
Confirm you are a poet. That's evidence right there. Any Globy believers have any poets about the Globy? Any poems about the Globy?